Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to participate in today's webinar. My name is Min Fang. I am a Customer Engineer Manager at Google Cloud. Today, our webinar is on iCar Asia, Shaping the Future of Online Buying and Selling with Google Cloud. With my pleasure, please allow me to introduce my fellow speakers. Zishan Khan, Director of Engineering, iCar Asia; Chris Song, Senior Regional Director from Southeast Asia, Sears; and Leonard Vogt, Industry Manager from Google Cloud; and Anil Sagar, Customer Engineer from Google Cloud. So in the next 90 minutes, first, we will share some exciting insights from the recent Economist Southeast Asia 2020 report. Then we'll invite Zishan and Leonard to share about iCar Asia's cloud journey to the cloud. Then Anil will actually give a quick overview on Google Cloud Services and some of the key differentiation factors can help our customers to accelerate the digital transformation. And last but not least, we'll invite Chris to share some helpful tips in terms of how to get your journey cloud to start it. Okay, so let me go into my bit. This Economy Southeast Asia report, it is a joint internet economy study research sponsored by three groups. They're from Google, Temasek, and Buying Southeast Asia. So this is the 5th year we're doing this report. So interestingly, so from the impact, this is basically, we haven't seen the most exciting impact in our economy. Next slide. And so basically, we haven't seen, the prediction we have done in 2019, many of the predictions, instead happening in 3 or 2 years' time, we have seen those transformation completed in the past 10 months. For example, if you see the numbers, 70% of Southeast Asia populations are online today, and we added 40 million new internet users this year alone, and more than 1 in 3 digital service consumers started using a new online service due to COVID-19. And what is amazing is that we see a projection of our entire internet economy to go over 300 billion US GMV by 2024. So the reason is very obvious. Because of the lockdown, people tend to shop grocery online, tend to seek entertainment online, and tend to learn online. So that's a very natural selection of people's behavior. And what is more interesting is that in Southeast Asia, people spend on average an hour more a day on internet during the lockdowns, and 8 in 10 Southeast Asians feel that technology is helping in dealing with the pandemic. And people are viewing technology it's becoming a dispensable factor in their daily life. And what is also very interesting is that 9 in 10 new users intend to continue using digital services in a post-pandemic world. And obviously, COVID-19 impact different sectors, different markets very differently. E-commerce, online media, and food delivery are thriving during the lockdowns. On the other hand, we have seen transport and travel are facing some struggles. And a similar story happening in the digital financial services. You have seen mass issuing for digital banking licenses recently. So obviously, the payment and remittance financial startups are thriving, but we see some challenges from the lending side as well. And And besides the traditional sectors, we see two rising star as well coming out. One is health tech. The other one is ed tech. We have seen 4x growth in the teleconsulting in the medicine field. We also have seen 3 times more downloads in terms of education applications in the past year. So with that said, obviously we haven't seen tremendous growth in the e-commerce. We haven't seen 62% growth year over year in terms of e-commerce, and we'll see 62 billion for this year. And also you can see from the search on the supply side, we'll see many more SMEs coming online. So this will actually continue to fuel the growth in the e-commerce for coming years as well. So with that said, it's definitely a challenging year for everybody and for the business. But the long-term outlook for Southeast Asia's economy is more robust than ever. And digital players definitely are facing some challenges, but the innovation and adoption has been expanding in both markets and different sectors. So with that said, Google is very committed in supporting Southeast Asia's digital economy. We are committed in investing in digital skills and education. We're committed to providing a better internet access and more helpful access, internet access as well. For Google Cloud, our mission is to help our customers to transform their business by providing a few things. We will provide best in infrastructure and a very powerful digital transformation platform, as well as digital solution, industry-specific solutions. Together, we will also infuse our experience and culture to help our customers to create magic together. So with that said, I would like to invite Zeeshan and Leonard to start to share about iCar Asia's journey to the cloud.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Min. So hi, everyone. My name is Leonard. I'm in the Google Cloud team based in Singapore, and I have the pleasure of doing this Q&A with Zeeshan Khan. So just to give it a quick introduction, Zeeshan is the Director of Engineering at iCar Asia. If you haven't heard of iCar Asia before, they're a marketplace-based startup in Malaysia. They were founded in 2012. With that, Zeeshan, welcome. Thanks so much for sharing your cloud journey. Maybe you can just give us a brief introduction to yourself and your role, and how our iCar Asia got started.
Thank you, Leonard, for the introduction. Yeah, so my name is Zeeshan. I am the Director of Engineering here at iCar Asia. We are headquartered in Kuala Lumpur. iCar Asia was started basically back in 2012 with the purpose that we wanted to make our users, buyers, own, and sell a car's journey convenient. In 2020, iCar Asia is the largest automotive portal network in ASEAN. We are operating in 3 biggest markets in this region, which includes Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. We are generating over 185 million ad impressions monthly. We have over 12 million monthly users, and we have over 6,000 paying sellers. We are generating almost 1 million leads for our sellers. And we are not only a buyer portal or seller portal. We are basically to help sellers and buyer. For example, buyers can search, compare, and research with over 400,000 listings available on our web portals. They can also use our services like car inspection. So before making any purchase of any used car, buyers can basically use our qualified inspectors, and they can tell them if there is any potential issue with the car. Similarly, sellers can choose to list their car on our classified portals, and they can also list their listings into our auction platforms, where the largest pool of the dealers basically bid on their car, and they get the best price out of their car instead of taking their car to different locations. Yep.
Got it. Thanks so much for sharing the growth story. I think why we're all here, what we want to learn a little bit more about is you recently migrated to Google Cloud. When considering that move, what were some of the factors that played a decisive role for you and the team?
Yeah, I think it's already been 3 years now. So before we migrated to GCP, we were facing a lot of issues. If I summarize them with the three major issues that we were facing. So it was kind of an old-fashioned way of deploying an infrastructure that we were using. So it was kind of manual process. It was using VMs for auto scaling. And every time we had a deployment, team has to basically change manually into a template and then generate a configuration file for that launch configuration. And then auto scaling basically was using that launch configuration. So it was kind of hectic process. And because of that, we had to follow 2 weeks sprint. And it was a major hurdle for us basically to deploy changes quickly into production. The second one was scalability. If you get a sudden spike, then virtual machines are not that good at that time, at least. So it was kind of a fixed number of machines that had to launch whenever a spike comes. And if the spike was bigger than that, then it has some kind of intermittent issues with the loading. Third one was I would say the cost. This infrastructure is not obviously good in terms of cost. Like for every service and every project, you have to have 3 VMs at least, even if they're small VMs. Then you have to keep them for the availability purposes. So we were looking for something that basically modernized our infrastructure. During that time, Dockers was getting popularity. I'm talking about 2017. So back in, I think it was in Kuala Lumpur, we attended GCP Summit in Kuala Lumpur, and we heard about Kubernetes there. And it was kind of, you can say our love affair started with that Kubernetes. And it's only growing with the time when we started using it into production.
Great. Just to clarify for everyone, so GCP is the acronym we use for Google Cloud Platform. So just wanted to clarify on that. So that's great. So a lot of you mentioned was around scalability and cost. The third one you mentioned, the manual process, usually took around 2 weeks. Do you have any kind of statistics around how long you think that takes now and what you've been able to kind of reduce it to?
Yeah, so we are doing now daily deployments. Before that, we used to have kind of following 2 weeks sprint. And after every sprint that the deployment goes to production. But now, whenever feature is ready, we can just deploy anytime into production.
Understood. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility as well. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question, especially in these times, there's a lot of talk around business continuity and how to, stave off disruption. So some businesses can be a bit skeptical about moving from one cloud platform to the other because of that, perceived disruption. Can you talk us a little bit about, what some of the roadblocks were for you when migrating from your previous provider to Google Cloud?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's not an easy decision, obviously, moving cloud from one to another, especially if you have to convince management. They think that everything is okay, then why do we need to move to other cloud? But I think with iCar Asia, we are fortunate to have management who understand the importance of technology for our business. So basically, we don't have any presence without internet. So without internet and technology, our company is nothing. So to fix all those issues that we were facing, basically, and the desire to modernize our infrastructure and achieve that faster delivery to the production and remove all these roadblocks, that's the main triggering point for us, basically, to decide that we should modernize and streamline things with Kubernetes. So we decided to have a POC on Kubernetes, and we started with our content sites and compared the results. And it significantly improved things like with the deployment time. If I talk about deployment, as I mentioned, it was a manual process and it was time consuming because every time your virtual machines have to replace, then it takes down a time about 20 to 30 minutes. But with the Kubernetes deployment, once the image is built, then obviously it just take about 2 to 5 minutes and then done. That's the main significant improvement we get. And with this, we also automated things and remove that manual process that we were following. And it allows us flexibility to basically deploy anytime, and all the roadblocks basically removed with this technology. And when we started migrating, basically the Kubernetes was only available on Google Cloud. So that was the decision that we took to move to Google Cloud.
Great. So one of the things I'm picking up on is the POC, so proof of concept, which is the way a lot of companies get started. Can you talk to us a little bit about maybe how long that POC lasted and what the next steps were after that?
Yeah, so we started in September 2017, and POC just took one month. Because it took 1 month, I think, because no one was familiar at that time also. So it also included some research about Kubernetes and how things we have to go to. So it took around 1 month, and then after the result, as I said, it was a no-brainer to shift to Kubernetes.
Great. Thanks for sharing. So, iCar Asia, as you mentioned, acts like a startup, is a digital business. So we understand, how critical speed, the flexibility you mentioned is to your business. How do you think Google Cloud has kind of supported that and helped you build that interactive platform for your users?
Yeah, obviously, cloud computing adoption is on the rise every year, and it doesn't take long to see why. Using cloud organization don't have to invest much on the effort needed to run on-premises infrastructure. Like you don't have to invest in implementing security, scalability, reliability. So all this come with your cloud provider. And before moving to GCP, if I compare with our traffic then and now, so before moving to GCP, we used to have around 8 million visitors, and we were facing the issues that I just mentioned before. And after moving to GCP, we get, I would say, again, 3 benefits that are the major benefits we get with this. We move away from the bi-monthly manual deployment that we used to have. Now we can deploy anytime. We deploy multiple times a day now. And over 95% of our production applications are now on Kubernetes and all automated. And now they are better scalable, and they handle sudden spikes more better than previously. And the most important thing is all these infrastructure improvement and the traffic, 50% growth of traffic, we are still paying 10% less bill what we were paying before Google Cloud.
Okay, great. Thank you. So again, you're able to deploy, daily if you would like to, and also you have a cost improvement. I think for maybe some of the other people on the call, it sounds like the migration went relatively smoothly, which is great. What are some of the setbacks that maybe you had and learnings that you took away from that other people should consider when they want to move to the cloud?
Yeah, I would suggest that to have a cloud partner, if you don't have people who can basically handle this, because I think with cloud partner, you get the right people who have the experience with the right technology, and they can suggest you about the cost improvement, how you can improve your infrastructure, performance improvement. So all this, I think, SIRS is. I wish I could have them that time. Yeah, so I would suggest that to have a right cloud partner. And Google support team also very helpful during all this migration. So it was, I would say, kind of a very smooth migration for us.
Okay, good. So yeah, maybe moving a little bit to the business side as well. So you mentioned, how many users you have on the platform. So user engagement from both the buyers and the sellers is very key to your business, especially when you have, a commerce platform such as yourself. How are you leveraging some of the AI and ML tools of Google Cloud to kind of get more data insights and drive those meaningful interactions?
Yep. So I think user engagement is when your customer start realizing that the importance of your product, that the service that you're providing them is making value for them. So obviously they will be engaged with your product. And I think data is super important for all this journey and making customer experience smooth. And we have a lot of data. That's hundreds of terabytes of data, and it's super important for us to make use of this data. And there are endless possibilities with AI and machine learning capabilities that we have on Google Cloud. There are a lot of things in pipeline that we are working on, like we are working on a car valuation tool that will help us predict the price correctly. And then we are also working with the machine learning implementation to reduce pain points for our human intensive work, such as moderation of user generated content. We have a data centric product also, that is we call it iCar Data. It is providing insights about the trends in our market, like popularity of a model or a brand, or price depreciation, etc. And it is helping banks and finance companies making better decisions for example, approve or reject a loan. And we are working with our Google Cloud partner SIRS to improve what we are building. We are building data lake that basically will help us to make our data more valuable for us in more close to real time.
Great, thank you for sharing. I think maybe one last question from myself. So you mentioned some of the extra projects that you're doing with SIRS, such as the data lake. In terms of after you migrated, how are you kind of optimizing some of the infrastructure that you have and improving on some of the processes, and how has SIRS helped with that process?
Yeah, during this COVID situation, obviously it's quite our engineering team was able to adopt quite normal like work from home because of the infrastructure that we have. We already have everything on Google Cloud. And I think Icaria management also assessed the situation very well. Like the COVID situation, they took some steps to continue with the business that we are running. One of those steps was to unfortunately freeze any new hiring for some time. It could have meant a potential impact on our delivery targets. But I think another decision to have a cloud partner, SIRS, on board, this has significantly overcome this impact. And SIRS has helped us accelerate our data lake initiative. They have the right people. I think that's a very important thing. They have the right people with the right mindset to help things. They have helped us like over our audit of our infrastructure and suggested us about the best practices and improve performance and reduce the cost. And Google also, they are always full of support, and any initiative that we kick off, they are very helpful. And I wish, as I said before, that I wish I could have Sir's team when we were migrating our infrastructure back in 2017.
Great, Zishan, thank you so much. I will kindly introduce my colleague at Google Cloud called Anil, who is a customer engineer. Will talk us through some of the services that we have and we can offer you. Thanks again, Zishan. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Leonard. Thanks, Zishan.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining. We are very excited to present the Google Cloud story along with Sears and iCar Asia. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Anil Sagar. I'm a customer engineer based out of Singapore, part of Google Cloud. I've been with Google for a little over 7 years now. With that, let me share my screen and get started with the third topic. Today's session. Hope you can able to see my screen. Let's quickly summarize what are all the different Google Cloud Platform services and solutions that are available. Then we will quickly move on to key differentiators of GCP, how we are different from other cloud platforms. Like any other cloud, you will see some of the fundamental building blocks of the cloud in the Google Cloud Platform, along with many business value proposition products and solutions that are truly unique to the Google Cloud. When it comes to compute, we all know that compute has the virtual machines, infrastructure as a service, but that is just a starting point. There are many other solutions that are available that brings a lot of cost optimization as well as business innovation. For example, you have a PaaS platform like an App Engine where you just deploy your code and all the underlying libraries and languages will be out of the box from the platform, and Google Cloud takes care of scaling. Especially when you are deploying web applications, you don't want to have too much operations around the stack, then App Engine is a great platform. Kubernetes Engine, you all know Kubernetes is one of the widely used stack and also consumed in the GitHub as well. And Kubernetes actually came from Google, and Google has almost like 15 years of experience running the containers, and the same kind of functionality is available for the customers through the Kubernetes Engine platform. Again, there are many other serverless solutions that are available in the Google Cloud, Cloud Functions, which can be used for event-driven kind of actions, and these are great ways to save the cost. If you are running containers and you want to leverage the serverless environment without having a need for a complex Kubernetes kind of a environment, then Cloud Run is a great platform to run your serverless workloads. Again, these are the basic fundamentals of the compute building blocks in the cloud. How Google Cloud does it compared to other cloud providers, you will see significant difference in the Google Cloud compared to other cloud providers. Similarly, when it comes to storage, cloud storage is where you can save a lot of files and logs and use for analysis at a later point of time. Again, there are different kinds of storage levels, like standard, nearline, and archival. But one fundamental difference that you will see in Google Cloud Storage compared to other clouds is no matter which storage type you are using, standard, nearline, or core line, the performance stays same. It's not the same case in other cloud providers, but that you will see as a significant difference in Google Cloud. Because the underlying file system, it came from Google. In Google, the products like YouTube, Gmail, and Search uses the same one, and it's called Colossus in Google, and the same one is available for the enterprise customers through the cloud storage. You also have a cloud file store where you can have NFS kind of a systems, and you can also attach persistent disks like hard disks and SSDs to the VM. When it comes to databases, again, you will see some of the unique features in Google Cloud compared to other clouds. For example, Cloud Spanner is a one-of-a-kind relational database that can spread across globally at the same time, supports terabytes to petabytes of data. And this spanner is one of a kind in the world, because the reason is, for the long time, if you are a database administrator, you are familiar with the CAP theorem. Most of the databases supports either two of them, not all three. But Spanner is first one to actually support all three, where you can have an RDBMS system at the same time, scale it globally. Again, we have other services like Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL is a fully managed service to run your MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, and other workloads. Bigtable is where you need OLTP kind of use cases, where you want to store petabytes of data. At the same time, you want single-digit millisecond latency to access that information. So Bigtable can scale linearly, and you can get 10,000 queries per second for every node that you add to the Bigtable. And you can scale it to hundreds of thousands of queries per second as well, at the same time having sub-milliseconds latency. Memory store, where you will find solutions like Redis and Memcache, great for the workloads where you want to quickly retrieve some kind of a configuration or key value pairs very quickly instead of going all the way back to the disk. FileStore is, again, if you are building mobile applications, if you want to store the content like user information and other NoSQL kind of a flat structured data, then FileStore is a great platform where it provides a lot of mobile SDKs as well to integrate with the apps. So coming to the networking, again, there are a lot of unique features we will be discussing when we talk about Google Cloud differentiators. Again, I don't want to spoil the surprise, and we will discuss that in detail when we go through the Google Cloud differentiating factors. Along with that, you will see most of the unique features in terms of how you manage the data and the data analytics. Again, if you look at the big data space, if you look at Hadoop, or if you look at Spark, HBase, all these technologies, the origins of it goes back to the Google. If you look at the Google papers like MapReduce and Dremel and all these things, these are the origins of the big data, and it all came from the Google. And you will find the best of the platforms in Google Cloud. So BigQuery is a data warehouse. It can be petabytes, and it can crunch the data within few seconds, and you can able to use for the analytics purpose. Again, there are many other data-related solutions. For example, Dataflow is where you can do things like filtering, mapping, and then changing the data before ingesting or before going to different sources. Dataproc is the cloud version of Spark clusters. Again, it is fully managed by Google Cloud. And you can able to leverage the data lab to actually see the results in a visual format and then use it for the analytic purpose. PubSub is where you can leverage for the message queues kind of a environment, and then able to ingest like millions of queries coming in, and then store it in different kinds of systems. Again, Google is very well known for machine learning and AI. You will see best of the platforms in the Google Cloud through the machine learning solutions that are available. For example, things like Document AI, where it can parse invoices and the documents and able to convert from OCR, ICR to the text and consume through various production platforms through the APIs of the Google. Again, you have Vision API, where you don't need to build the machine learning models. It is already trained, and you can start leveraging from the day one. Similarly, there are many other machine learning APIs available through the Google Cloud Platform, and we are constantly adding more and more new ones. You will find, again, a lot of tools for the developers to integrate the CI/CD things into the core infrastructure through the developer tools. And Google is also very well known for the security. You will find a few of the best platforms to actually monitor and audit, and as well as track who's accessing your resources through the identity and security platforms. Again, this is very, very high level. Again, we are happy to take you through a little bit deeper in various sessions in the upcoming sessions. Let's look at what makes Google Cloud truly unique compared to other cloud providers. Again, this is a critical factor for most of the customers who are evaluating different clouds or who would like to start their cloud journey moving from on-premises. Let's look at Google Cloud, how Google Cloud brings some of the best technologies from Google. Many people think that Google or Google Cloud is a little late into the cloud game. Obviously, there are other cloud providers who had first mover advantage, but I would say Google is a first cloud company. And you can ask the question, hey, there are other cloud companies who started first in the cloud business. But when you look at Google, not just Google Cloud, Google is a first cloud company. Why I say that? All the technologies that you see in cloud today, whether it is Kubernetes, whether it is big data, whether it is AI/ML, it all came from Google. Kubernetes engine came from Google, a project called Borg, and Google open sourced it, and it became the most famous project in the GitHub as well. And it is widely used across the globe. And it came from the Google. And even if you see the big data technologies, for example, the BigQuery, where you can crunch petabytes of data, and things like Apache Hadoop and all these things, the origins date back to Google's Dremel. Even if you see AI/ML and you experience it every day in and out, it all came from the Google. So Google is the first cloud company, but we didn't have a chance to bring it to the market because Google was so busy in handling like 50% of the internet traffic. Let's say if the 2 calls comes to internet, 1 call used to land in search, Gmail, Maps, and YouTube and other platforms. So that's the reason Google was not first cloud company to the market, but all the cloud technologies that you see today, most of them actually built by Google. And the same is available to the customers. You will be leveraging the same network infrastructure as Google. You will be leveraging the same infrastructure that Google uses. You will be experiencing the same security that Google has built and very well known in last 15 years. These are the few customers who are running their infrastructure on Google Cloud and doing the business innovation. Let's look at Google differentiating factors from 2 angles: cloud as a commodity, cloud as a value proposition. Many people think that, typically I'm talking about traditional enterprises, cloud as a commodity. They think cloud is a compute, storage, network, and data because they have experience with on-prem solutions and they think the cloud is just the infrastructure. But on the other side of the coin, many digital natives like iCar think cloud as a value proposition, just not compute, storage, network, and data. It provides a lot of platforms and solutions where you won't be spending too much time on the infrastructure, but you will be focusing on doing the business innovation. We will see Google Cloud differentiators from both the angles in today's session: cloud as a commodity as well as cloud as a value proposition. So obviously, when people think cloud as a commodity, the first thing that comes to the picture is the pricing. How much does it cost to run my workloads in Google Cloud? And here is the independent analysis by the Kinsta. As you can see here, comparing the infrastructure compute cost across different cloud providers, and Google Cloud has one of the lowest compute cost. Again, there is a reason behind it. I will discuss in the next few slides. And Google Cloud is also a first cloud provider to introduce per second billing. Earlier, cloud providers used to charge per hour basis, then per minute basis, but Google is the first cloud company to introduce per second billing. And we also have a lot of pricing innovations. You will see committed users discounts where you don't need to pay upfront if you reserve the instances. So let me tell you again, if you reserve the instances in Google Cloud, you don't need to pay upfront. But in other cloud providers, they have the concept of upfront fees, but Google Cloud doesn't have the concept of upfront fees. Again, that's a unique feature. Google Cloud also has a preemptible VMs, which offers 80% compared to the regular pricing. Other cloud providers say they offer 90% compared to the regular compute, but when you actually compare the numbers, preemptible VMs in Google Cloud is significantly cheaper than other cloud providers. Again, there are no termination fees if you're running on-demand instances. And again, there are a lot of pricing innovation that Google brings to the customers. Again, one of the unique features when it comes to pricing and cloud as a commodity is even if you are running on-demand instances, you get up to 30% discount if you run full 4 weeks in a month. Again, this is very unique in Google Cloud. These are automatic discounts that kicks in if you are running the machines full 4 weeks. If you're running 3 weeks, you still get 20%. And if you're running 2 weeks, you still get 10% off on the on-demand pricing. So these discounts, we call it sustained usage discounts. And again, it's unique to Google Cloud. And it is available automatically for the customers. Let's look at cloud as a value proposition from the compute perspective, not just as a commodity, not just as a pricing. What are the unique features in Google Cloud that differentiates Google Cloud from other cloud providers when it comes to basic building block of the cloud, which is infrastructure, that is virtual machines? Let me tell you this interesting thing. Google Cloud is born out of containers. Though you will see a lot of VMs, but under the hood, Google manages them in a different way compared to the traditional VM infrastructure. Let's say if there is a maintenance on a particular rack, what happens is Google live migrates the VM, your VM running in Google data center from one rack to another rack automatically. And the downtime that you see is just a blip or a couple of seconds. In other cloud providers, it's not the case. There is at least a few tens of seconds or a few minutes of downtime when a VM migrates from one rack to another rack if there is a maintenance on the VM. But in Google Cloud, it is just a blip, and customers sometimes won't even see that VM actually migrated from one rack to another rack when there is a host maintenance. So this live migration feature is a kind of unique in Google Cloud. So this provides greater availability for the customers apart from running the VMs in a HA mode. Again, one of the unique features of Google Cloud is custom machine types, where you can select the number of cores and the amount of memory that you want for your VMs up to 0.25 memory multiples. Why is this important? Because right sizing the virtual machine can save 35% of the costs. So it is very important to pick a right size for the VMs, and you're not forced to pick the machine size that the cloud provider is providing you. In Google Cloud, you can select custom machine types, and you can select exact number of CPU cores that you want and exact amount of memory that you want. And you can ask a question, Anil, how do I know what is the right size? And how often do I do this? That's why we have built a feature where every time you go and see your virtual machines, you actually see how much it is utilized and what is the right size. Not only that, how many dollars that you can save per VM. This is out of the box, and you see it every time you see a list of machines. Again, this is powered using Google machine learning under the hood. Based on your utilization metrics, that Google recommends what is the right machine size and help you save money. Again, this is truly unique when it comes to compute in the Google Cloud. So how is this kind of pricing innovation is possible, and why does Google Cloud Compute is cheaper compared to other cloud providers? Because when you look at Google data centers, Google Cloud data centers, we use 40% less energy for cooling our data centers. That reduces the ops, that reduces the price. The same reduction is going back to the customer. Not only this, Google Cloud is the first and only cloud company fully 100% powered by the renewable energy. In fact, Google has targets to completely move to 100% renewable energy, not just Google Cloud, in near future. So let's look at network and how Google Cloud is truly, truly unique compared to other cloud providers, and how it's a great value proposition for the customers for creating an awesome user experience, just like YouTube, Gmail, search, and ads to your customers, and how it is truly different from other cloud providers. And again, I'm very proud to talk about network because it is very, very unique when it comes to different cloud providers in Google Cloud. So what makes Google Network truly unique? What makes Google Network creates that great experience for your end users? So this is the Google Network infrastructure map. As you can see, all the blue icons are Google data centers, and all the big gray icons where you don't have that map pin is what we call it as points of presence. And all the small gray icons that you see, hundreds of them, thousands of them, are edge cache nodes. And the blue lines that you see is the fiber optic cables that connects these data centers. And what makes it truly unique? This entire infrastructure is owned by Google. That means when you are running your workloads in different data centers, when these machines try to communicate each other, they don't need to go through the internet. They go through Google private backbone. Let's take an example. Let's say if there is a virtual machine in Singapore data center, if there is a virtual machine in US data center. So you are using two data centers because your customers come from different data centers, and you might be replicating some of the content between these two data centers, and you have a multi-region deployment. When these data centers try to talk to each other, they don't go through public internet. Let me repeat that again. So when these two data centers try to talk to each other, when these VMs try to talk to each other, they don't go through public internet. They go through Google-owned fiber optic cables, which is a private backbone of Google data center. It has a huge implications on latency, networking, operations, cost, as well as maintaining the infrastructure. So let's take an example. Let's say if you are running in other clouds, you have multiple data centers. If a VM in Singapore is talking to VM in US, then generally what happens is you will see multiple hops. First, the data packets will leave the Singapore data center. It will go to Malaysia. From Malaysia, probably it will go to Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, it will go to Japan Telco. From Japan Telco, it will go to Canada, and Canada to US Telco, finally to the data center. So if you are a network engineer, if you do trace route to that particular IP, you will see 6 to 15 hops going from one edge peering connection to another edge peering connection, one telco to another telco. So there will be a lot of hot potato kind of scenario where the network packets will be going through multiple internet gateways across different telcos in other clouds. But in Google Cloud, you will see just one hop. So let me repeat it again. You will see one hop. Many people are confused. Hey, there's no routers, or how does it happening? It's like a magic. Because Google Cloud leverages this private backbone instead of internet, and it is just one hop to the data center. So it has a huge implications on latency, time to first byte, as well as network infrastructure. And let me tell you this one more interesting thing with the Google Cloud. Even if your VM is in Singapore and in US West or any other data center, those VMs can talk to each other using private IPs. Those VMs can talk to each other using private IPs. You don't need to have public IPs. That means the entire globe where the Google data centers are present feels like one single VPC, one single virtual private cloud, like as similar to your home office network. The entire globe, all the data centers. So this is like mind-blowing thing. It's truly like a magic powered by Google's Andromeda software-defined networking platform. So just to visualize what happens in other clouds versus what happens in Google Cloud, if you are using other clouds, if you have multiple data centers, this is how your network looks like, the one at the bottom. This is how the data packets travel from end user to internet service provider to one telco to another telco, finally to the data center. Not only just VM to VM, but also when your end user try to access your services. Let's say your data center is in Singapore, your user is in US and he's trying to access your services. First, he will connect to the internet service provider like AT&T. He'll go to Canada Telco. He will go to Japan Telco. Finally, he'll come to your Singapore data center. But in Google Cloud, once the user connects to this nearest point of presence, this big gray dots that you see, it is just one hop into Google Data Center. So it will have a great user experience and less latency. Time to first byte will be 100 times better than regular internet. You can ask, hey, Anil, what about the connection between internet service provider and Google Data Center? The good news is most of the telcos has already direct peering with Google point of presence because YouTube, Gmail, search, ads, and other region. So that means even this is taken care. So it is a very seamless experience when your users are accessing your workloads. And not only that, you can create a single VPC connecting multiple data centers instead of creating multiple VPCs in other clouds. That means you don't need to configure multiple firewall rules for each VPC again and again. You don't need to provide multiple network infrastructure like NAT gateways, load balancers for each VPC. You don't need to do it. You can create a single global load balancer in Google Cloud. Let me repeat it again. You can create a single global load balancer. Generally, what you see in other clouds is a regional load balancers because those load balancers are deployed in the VMs. But in Google Cloud, when you create a load balancer, it is a software-defined load balancer that presents at the edge of this fabric across the globe. You can have a single Anycast IP that can take the traffic independent of where the user is across the globe. Again, this is truly unique in Google Cloud, the global load balancer. So we talked about compute, we talked about network. Let's talk about storage, how Google Cloud is different. Again, there is a misconception in the market that Google Cloud storage is 30% costlier, but reality, it is not costlier, it is actually cheaper. The reason is the IOPS. You should not be just looking at persistent disk versus SSDs. You should not be looking at HDD versus SSDs. What you need to be looking at is how much is the IOPS requirement, how much IOPS, how much disk space that I need to provision. Just to give you an example, Google provides 30 read-write IOPS per GB of SSDs, but the other cloud providers, the one who has been long in the industry, provides only 3 for their SSD, but Google provides 30. They also have other type of SSD types, but what happens is when you go for additional IOPS, you have to pay extra, but you don't need to pay extra in Google Cloud. That means you can able to get similar IOPS with higher disk space at reduced cost in Google Cloud. So we talked about compute, storage, and network. Let's look at database. Again, we discussed various kinds of database, how truly unique in Google Cloud in earlier slides. So just to summarize, cloud is just not commodity. It's just a starting point. But even if you look at cloud as a commodity, Google Cloud has a lot of differentiating factors in terms of pricing, in terms of technology. But the true business value proposition comes from what you do after you have infrastructure running on the cloud. How do you leverage serverless platforms? How do you do machine learning? How do you do data analytics using BigQuery and other technologies? That's where you will see a lot of differentiating factors in Google Cloud. I just want to highlight this again. So most of the other clouds were born out of VMs, but Google Cloud is born out of containers. And even internal infrastructure, what you see is the virtual machines is actually powered and managed by the containers. And Kubernetes is a very famous container platform out there, and it came from Google. And Google is best known for running the container workloads, and same is available for the customers. Just like how Kubernetes took over the world, the next big wave that is coming to the containers world is Istio. Istio is where you actually manage your microservices, and most of the components of Istio came from Google, and it is also available for the customers in the Google Cloud. Google Cloud is secure by design. Again, whatever Google has built in terms of security for the last 15 years is available for the customers. And Google is very well known for the security. Again, if you heard about Intel chip flaws like Spectre and others, Google detected it and patched it even before the world came to know about it. Fundamentally, the entire data center cloud is designed keeping security in mind. You will see various layers of security. By default, everything is encrypted in Google Cloud, both at rest and transit. So let me repeat it again. By default, everything is encrypted in Google Cloud, both at rest and in transit. And also, you will see a lot of unique features when it comes to DLP, data loss prevention, data protection, and how you can able to do it in various other platforms using Google Cloud DLP APIs. So finally, AI and ML, again, these are the coolest technologies. Not many customers are leveraging today, apart from the digital natives. But again, that is the next logical step for any traditional enterprise after running the infrastructure. And Google Cloud brings few of the best AI ML technologies, whether it is GPUs and TPUs, which are like 15 to 30x faster compared to traditional GPUs and CPUs offered by other cloud providers. Even if you look at AI and ML space, when it comes to Auto API, Auto ML, to actually simplify the ML and AI concepts for the enterprises, you will see solutions like Document AI, Vision APIs, visual search APIs in Google Cloud. Just to summarize, the high level, what are the true unique differentiating factors when it comes to Google Cloud? Best-in-class security, hybrid and multi-cloud through our Anthos platform, fully managed no-ops serverless solutions, embedded AI and ML, and more than anything, Google Cloud is bringing the best of the Google that Google has built from last 15 years. So that's all I have for today. So let me hand over to Chris to talk about the next session of the agenda.
Thanks, Daniel. That was a great insight. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Chung, the Regional Head of CS Southeast Asia, and I'm delighted to meet with you today over this session. Please allow me to start my session by sharing my screen. Okay. Sears, I would like to talk about the Sears first. As some of you already knew that Sears is the global partner of the Google Cloud Platform. We have 14 offices across the world, and we keep adding it. And a year ago, we used to have 1,800 plus customers, and today we have over 1,000 customers from multiple markets, including Southeast Asia. We are one of the largest Google partners in the region, with more than 10 different vertical expertise like retail, e-commerce, finance, healthcare, manufacturing, and etc. Here's our journey with Google for the last 15 years. We started in 2006 with a really small team, just a few people, and we grew about we have almost 700 team members today. We have been helping a lot of organizations to build their futurity through re-engineering and doing a lot of consulting in cloud. We were helping them to collaborate better with G Suite and Google Cloud Platform, and more than 500,000 of users having a benefit of it today. We work across the Google stack of technologies like Maps, Anthos, and RPG to help a lot of organizations working with their technical teams to ensure that they have the right engineering for their business success. fact, we have been working with more than 1,000 startups so far. We also develop products on top of Google Cloud Platform, like Happier Work and HCM solution, automated HCM solution being used by more than 30,000 users now. Another one is Recognic, a computer vision API and a document AI as an intelligent automation process technology. So I can say a lot of automation and different ways of doing things are powered by Google technologies, and a lot of customization that we are bringing on top of it by working with the customers. That is why we position ourselves as a digital advisory firm that helps customers to build the future-proof business environment. This one shows how Sears has been recognized by the market and Google, starting with the fastest growing companies award in USA 2014. Sears has been recognized as a major market player in many different categories. And thanks to all our customers and partnerships, we have been also awarded by Google as a Partner of the Year in a row since 2015, and we hope we can continue that. And this is the representative list of our clients at a glance. I trust many of them would be familiar to some of you. As you can see, there are a mixture of startups and enterprises. And interestingly, most of them are chasing after the similar goals. Those 1,000+ startups we are working with have their own uniqueness, but they all come in with a common origination, which is they are digital native. And we are working with a lot of enterprises in their data transformation journey, infrastructure modernization, and moving towards Kubernetes, ensuring that they are adopting the best practices on DevOps, basically how they can become more agile in culture and business process. Since the enterprise customers, they want the knowledge of how the startup companies operate in the perspective of digital nativeness. I witnessed the first cloud technology launch 10 years ago when I was working for EMC, which is today Dell Technologies. Back then, it was literally opportunistic, give it a try mode, and the major market driver was management efficiency and the cost saving. After 10 years from there, cloud has become the utmost important factor for business, and it is the representation of the innovation and agility, which are regarded as the core value of modern day success. Therefore, it is safe to say that the era of cloud computing has come already today. On top of that, the impact of COVID-19 on global economy has changed actually everything. What it used to work before won't work anymore. Existing customer requirements have changed to new ones. New business model and new way of operating have to be there to address it properly. As a result, our biggest task today is to create a new digital ecosystem that leverage on cloud platform to deliver scale and agility. And Sears can help you to build that with you by providing advisory, consulting, and migration services up to the level of a fully managed service and business environment modernization. One of the major mistakes in building new cloud business environment would be doing it without proper strategic consideration. For example, when you try to apply a simple lift and shift for existing on-premise applications, trying to doing it with the absence of data consideration or DevOps consolidation. Without these considerations, a successful migration to cloud cannot be guaranteed. Therefore, we strongly recommend a complimentary discovery workshop for our customers to generate the customized ideal migration strategy with mutual understanding. And this is the way how CS makes our customers happy, actually. If you'd like to know more about the Migration Discovery Workshop, please feel free to contact us to recommend your organizations.
Thanks everyone for joining in.